So with that, you can say that the amount of money that you make is directly related to the number of cart abandonment messages that you send.
Right guys, today I will show you how to do this animation in the Iman Gadzhi'S style. As I promised you guys in the last video, in this YouTube video I will drop a pack with 50 free assets. This is the pack. It's on my Patreon for free. You can check it in the description or in the comments. There's a direct link to the assets for free, guys. But it's especially useful for the Iman Gadzhi'S style. It's a very high quality and it's transparent. But before we pick the asset we will use for this tutorial, go into your browser and go onto the Unsplash website and we're gonna look for smoke. This will be the background. I'm gonna take this one, download it for free, go back into After Effects. Also we want to pick an asset we want to use for this tutorial, and I will use the 26th picture, the working picture, import this, and then also go to the downloads folder and import the smoke picture. Import in the After Effects, drag them both into the composition. Now we're gonna fix up the scaling. If you press right click, transform, and then fit to comp with, it perfectly aligns the sides. But I think we will change it around, scale it in a little bit more to the left. So now that all assets are placed, we're gonna play around with the colors and add some effects so everything fits and matches to the scene. Go to effects and presets and add the tritone effect. Make this like a pink color. Have to play around, see what looks good. Then also paste this on the other one. That's good. Now I'm gonna select the background layer with the smoke. Add a fast box blur. Put this to 6. Maybe we'll change this in the future, but for now 6 is fine. Then I'm gonna add hue, saturation, and play around with the lightness and saturation and see. I'm also thinking that I will only turn the saturation down on some certain colors. So I'm gonna go to the layer on the top and add a drop shadow. Then the distance to 0, opacity 100, direction to 0, and the softness turn it up. And for the color, pick the pink one. Gonna turn this down a lot, maybe 33. That's fine, because now the edges are smooth and everything fits well. Also one more thing I'm gonna do now, so I don't forget, is to press right click and add an adjustment layer and add a vignette here. That's good. Play around with the settings, maybe turn this up to 55. Now I'm also gonna rename everything. This will be the, you can just call it smoke or background, whatever you want. This is the person and this is the vignette. Next step now is to make the animation for the text. It always depends on what he's saying in the video, so what it's about. This is about the amount of money you make, the amount of money you earn, and I will also add an icon at the top which will be spinning, so there's more moving parts, so it will look better, and also visualize the text from the left to the right. Now we're gonna go back in the browser and go to the site, the Noun project. I have my favorite sites here saved. These are all free, but I think if you use it for commercial stuff you have to get a license or a payment subscription, but you don't really need it. You can just download it like this, and I will just download a gear icon. I'm just gonna take this one. It looks very simple, so just download it for free. As you can see, if you have a subscription you can use it for the commercial shit, but we don't care. And before I drag it in my folder, I like to open it as a Photoshop project and then remove the text at the bottom so it's a perfect logo and nobody cares. And then like this, press right click, quick export as PNG, then go into your folder, assets. You can rename this cogwheel. Save it, then take this into your After Effects project. Go to effects and presets. We're gonna add a fill, make this white, perfect. Press T to go to the opacity, turn this down to maybe 10, add a deep glow, turn the radius down a lot to maybe 33, and the exposure get to 0,05. Then we're gonna animate this, go to around 2 minutes something, press P, make a keyframe. Also we want to make it bigger, put this like this, looks very good. So make a keyframe on P and then drag it out of the frame like this. We're gonna go forward and we're also gonna make sure that it keeps on rotating. A little trick to use expressions. Expressions are very useful in After Effects in general. So we're gonna press Option and left click and then type in time and then a star sign and just try it out, but we're gonna go with 25. That's perfect. So now it keeps on rotating. Also we're gonna select the position keyframes, go to the top to the flow plugin. All my presets which you can find here can be found down in the description on my website. Gonna try out a few easings. Gonna take the fast linear easing, that's fine. Enable motion blur, but we'll also enable this at the end. And also I will add another effect, maybe change the blending mode to overlay. Just play around and see what looks best. I think I might even put the opacity up. So I've set the opacity to 100. Just play around and see what looks good, but that's fine for now. I've also added a radial blur and set this to 2, so it looks like it's spinning faster than it actually is. That's fine. Perfect, you can close this now. Now we're gonna make the text animation and the slider animation. So go to the top to the rectangle tool and select it. Also we're gonna enable the proportional grid and just make a basic line like this. That's perfect. Zoom in, disable the stroke, change the fill color to completely white. Then click on this link. So it's delinked and we can change both of the values separately. Also make these values even to 1450 and this to 6. That's fine. Center the anchor point by pressing on the anchor point button and pressing command. Double click, that's perfect. And make sure that the snapping is enabled. Zoom in and just drag it in the middle of the composition like this. It's perfect. You can disable the proportional grid again and then duplicate the shape layer. Go to the one at the bottom and turn the size to 3. Then go to the size and we're gonna turn this, you have to play around with this, maybe 800. And this will be around half. So okay, one more tip, you can just use this as a calculator. So go to the end, type /2 and then it calculates the half as well. So that's a trick for you guys. Center the anchor point again with my technique. We're gonna change the color on here, turn this to like a blue, like this. Go back to effects and presets and add a deep glow. That's perfect. Play around with the settings. Gonna change it to a lighter blue. And also the size turn on to 3. Gonna turn the radius to 200 and the exposure to 0,05. Now press P, go to around 1 second. I will change this up. Just make the keyframes, put this to the left side and zoom in, and so you can see it's exactly on the edge. Perfect. Then go to the back and then on the other side and drag it to the right. Perfectly aligned. You can zoom back. Now we're gonna make the text animations. Just press right click, new text, type out what we want to animate. This will be amount of money that you make. Select all of it, go to the fonts and type in Montserrat. If you don't see this font, you can just go to the internet and type out Montserrat font. There's like a Google link and it's free. You can just press download here. Go back into After Effects and we're going to change this to Montserrat semi-bold italic and to completely white. Also make sure it's not fully caps lock, like that is perfect. Also one more tip, sometimes the text is completely fucked up and then you have to go to the window at the top and go to character. And then you have the really complex settings and then you can see if something is fucked up. So everything is alright. You can go back, center the anchor point with my technique, drag it back, make sure the snapping is enabled at top, scale it down. So this will be the right side, perfect. And then press Command duplicate, press P, drag it to the right side. And now we're gonna type out amount of messages that you send. I'm also gonna scale down the text maybe to 25, because it takes up too much of the screen. And rename this. This is text left, this is text right. This here is the line. This is the line background. Take all these things that we renamed now and drag them below the person, like this. Press right click, new, null object. Drag this to the bottom and this will be control animation. Select all the things and then parent it to the control. Now we can drag it down. Perfect. Also gonna scale it up a little bit. Gonna select the text and go to effects and presets and add a drop shadow. Distance to 0. The opacity to 100 and the softness to 70. Copy it onto the other text as well and also onto the line background. Perfect. And the cogwheel is too distracting, so I'll just turn down to 13, the opacity. That's perfect. Now I will select both the text, go to Animation Composer. This is a plugin which you can download for free, but I have the paid version because it has better animations. And we just need a simple text reveal. Go to Text Presets, Transition Characters, Decode, Decode and Fade, and just take the first one from start and press in. That's perfect. Now align them when he says the words. Perfect. Now I'm gonna go to the line, press U to reveal the keyframe properties, press on the value, go to the flow plugin at the top and we're gonna add some easing. It's a little bit too slow for me, so I'm gonna make this faster, add the smooth L easing. I like the easing a lot. Okay, I think the line is a little bit too long. So I'm gonna go to the beginning, play with the size, turn this down to maybe 550, adjust it so it's exactly on the corner like I showed you before, guys. Play with the left value, gonna go to the right value, do the same here. Perfect, zoom back out, go to flow plugin, apply the same easing. Select all the layers and toggle the modes and make sure the motion blur is enabled. Also, I want to animate the lines before they come out. And for this, I will take the anchor point of the line in the background and I want to move this to the left where it begins. Make sure snapping is enabled, go in depth and move it to the exact corner of it like this. You can just use the anchor point mover from Animation Composer, it's included. Just go to the top. So you can save your time on this, but you can do this manually as well. It's up to you. Then press S for the scale. Make sure to delink the different dimensions, the X and Y axis. Go to around 2, make a keyframe, go to beginning, turn this down to 0. Then take everything, go to the flow plugin and add the easing.
So with that, you can say that the amount...
Also, I want to animate the blue line, but because we already made keyframes on this, we have to use a null object. So just press right click and add a null object. This one we can delete the old one. Make sure the middle of it is on this point. That's fine, we can use it like this. Drag this down. This will be the scale control. Go to the line and parent it. Go to the scale, delink it. It's basically the same way we did the line at the bottom. Just have to duplicate it. Go to 0. As you can see, it's working. Also add some easing onto it.
So with that, you can say that the amount of money that...
Also make sure the motion blur is enabled. Just play around with it, see what looks good. Gonna add the fast linear easing.
You can say that the amount of money that you make is...
So it scales up as the text comes out. One more thing I want to add is go to the smoke and reduce. Go to the master and reduce the lightness to maybe -33. That's good. Also add a new adjustment layer. Go to effects and presets and add the transform effect. This is for the scaling. This one is the default plugin. Go to the scale and position, make a keyframe, beginning. Also make sure it's below the vignette because the vignette should be applied on top of everything. Go to the back and we're gonna zoom it in and to the top like this. Take both of them and play around with the easing. Maybe I'm just gonna keep this linear. So you can just apply the default one or select all the keyframes and press Command. And this will also remove the easing. Okay, I just apply the smooth R easing. That's fine. And rename it to scale. Okay, the scaling is a little bit too much. Turn this maybe to 112. Apply the same easing again. Make sure motion blur is enabled. The animation is now almost done. One more thing I want to add is the effect I did before in the person animation. So just go back onto the person. Go to the top and press on the puppet position pin tool. And we're gonna make some selections where we want to animate the person. Gonna make a few fixed points where we don't want it to move. Take all these pins that I just made. Now find the one you want to animate. Want to animate on the head, this is the first one. Perfect, we'll go a little bit forward. Put this down, then go back like this. Then also paste the first one again. Then also go to keyframe, press Option left click. We're gonna add loop out. This makes sure it will repeat the animation.
So with that, you can say...
That's way too fast. Also make sure the puppet is on top of all the effects so it doesn't interfere. I'm also gonna add some easing onto it because it's too fast, too harsh. Maybe add the fast linear effect. I like this more. And add only gradual movements so it's not harsh at all. Okay, that should be fine. Add the same easing again. Gonna close this, preview it. Okay, so this is how the full animation looks now.
So with that, you can say that the amount of money that you make is directly related to the number of cart abandonment messages that you send.
So that's the tutorial, guys. If you have any questions, drop in the comments. If you have any suggestions for the next video, also drop in the comments. Bye, guys. In the description below, you will see a link to eberdefer.com. This website has a full range of digital assets that can improve your work significantly. Not only do we provide tools to streamline your workflow and take your projects to the next level, but we also have editing freedom, a paid community that connects you with like-minded video editors, content creators, and entrepreneurs from around the world. Inside Editing Freedom, you will gain access to support from successful entrepreneurs, editing job offers, and a network of ambitious individuals, all striving to scale their skills and businesses as quickly as possible. If you have any further questions on any of the products, message me on the email on the website. It's time to improve your workflow and take your career to the next level.